basic videos, very short, about the statements regarding BIC cameras. It's a very useful tool to structure your pitch, and I recommend you to use it. So I think we're finished a little bit early. I think that's a good thing, because that means that you've got much more time for networking. You've got much more time now to find out if you need new team members.
Hello everybody. How many of you have been in Africa? Yeah, great. I've been to a number of African countries where I saw people not having good drinking water. They're literally falling off in front of me, and I don't want to see it anymore.
For the ones that weren't in Africa, we can just make this exercise. How many steps do we need to walk to drink clean water? Maybe just a few steps, right? This is not happening in Africa, so we have here some numbers. For example, 3.7 miles is the average distance a woman in Asia or Africa walks every day to collect water, and that is more or less 55 football fields. We have other numbers such as one child dies every single minute from diseases of contaminated water, and that is more than malaria and tuberculosis combined. We have other key numbers about African population, world population, and water supply, clean water.
And the map on the right shows us the drought severity in Africa. So if you look at the red areas, those are the areas where there is almost no clean water. And if you look at the groundwater images created by an ESA satellite, exactly for those areas we have currently no information about underground water. And what is the solution? Underground water mapping for specific areas. And this is a map of India created by this great satellite. So you can see that, you can see the underground water levels up to 15 meters. So the technology is available. And how it will be mapped for the areas where we don't have any information, we'll use the satellite data, and we will have continuous updates about the satellite data of every specific region. And we will be having a warning system for the sinking underground water.
So there are the benefits. When we want to save 5 million people during the next 5 years. Our partners would be the government institutions and bottled water producers, and we are part of sustainable development goals. Within these goals, we feel on these ones. Business model, subscription model, B2B. We predict that we have the breakthrough in 18 months, and please get involved with these projects.
Thank you very much.
I would like to hear more about the business model. The honest answer is that we didn't think a lot on it yet. We see the need, we see the technology available, so we want to combine the things. We see the willing of the governments to be part of this. We know some companies that this information could be useful for them, so we are seeing different opportunities. We don't know yet if the business model is the best. We think it's subscription model, but we don't have many more.
No.
I just wanted to give a bit of technical
sentence.
background.
Very short.
Most of the data is available in there, and we just need to process it, which is for free.
Hi, I'm Camilo Reyes. I hope you are enjoying the time, the afternoon. So we are Cosmos. Me and my partner Shreya, we started this idea a few months ago. We are basically an artificial intelligence-driven cloud-based platform for Earth observation data processing. And what we are aiming to do is to process all the data coming from climate change. You know that climate change is running really fast, it's faster than the humanity, and we need to process all the data really fast. There are many disasters happening right now, and we need to process this. So our solution is to have an affordable access to satellite imagery videos, and what we want to do is to build a platform that allows to all of you guys, city scientists, to process the data. So you just can download our images. You don't need to process it. You don't need to work on the raw data. We are going to do that for you.
So the product would be a cloud-based platform which will have access to the satellite data of almost most of the constellations up there, and it will be processed on machine learning and artificial intelligence, so the platform knows what is coming in and what the customer needs. So, and it will have notifications of the customer needs. Most of our market and the customer are based on environmentalists and climate scientists. Also, we plan to have partnership with governments, and also they can be our customers, and the energy and climate consultancy companies are our customers as well. So why should you invest in Cosmos? Because the satellite data, there's a lot of data out there, and we plan to have a common platform to process this data. And the climate change is just increasing every year, and our business model is B2B as well as B2C. And it's a cost-effective, time-saving platform and easily accessible for people who need the data. This is our team. It's a very international team. We are based all over the world, and we are looking forward to incorporate it very soon. Thank you.
Hi, so I have a question. Where are y'all thinking of incorporating?
Ooh. Tricky question. We have been thinking of in a few places. We have been discussing about Delaware. We are also thinking about incorporating in Luxembourg. But right now we are still working in the market because we want to invest in the best place. The fact is that we are an international team, and it's not easy for us to incorporate in the US because we only have one partner that is a US citizen. And it's tricky for us to go there to work due to ITAR restrictions. So we are working on that right now.
Maybe ESA BIC.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, we are Balance Shift. We have a number for you today. The world's financial markets believe that they own hundreds of trillions of US dollars in value. We think they're wrong. We think that there are $24.2 trillion at risk because of climate change to 2100. So what is the problem? Corporations do not take into account climate change as a decision variable. So what do we, and why is this relevant? Because value is at the core of finance. And if we can put a number on that value that is at risk for each company and their assets, their physical assets, to reassess the life cycle, then this is such an essential part of a company moving forward. Especially because we believe that a lot of those corporations will lose money because of climate change. So what's the solution? We believe that we can provide the information that they need to value their assets correctly and assess the life cycles in such a way that plans for climate change and the slow onset variables that we're talking about here. We know that insurance firms do risk modeling. We know that they do that, but we are not looking at extreme weather events. We're talking about simple, slow onset climate variables and how they will affect the productivity of a physical asset and its associated operations.
Actually, at this moment it's patent pending, so I cannot show you a little bit more. At this moment it's still a black box. But what we're currently doing is that within TNO, we already won innovation kicker money. So currently we're building a demonstrator setup to show the proof of concept. Our next way to go is that building a flight demonstrator. Within TNO, we have all the knowledge to build such a thing, and also we have partners which we could, for instance, use to piggyback along and put our system in space to get some space heritage for in the next coming 3 years. So for the next coming 3 years, we're okay with regarding to funding, but after the 3 years, if it's really a viable product, TNO is not the player who will make series production, so then we need to produce something, and then the funding comes into play. So what we are aiming for is that we We aim in the next 3 to 5 years to produce 10 to 20 pieces per year, for about 100 to 200k per piece. Get all the birth, all the faults out of it and make really a commercial product. And after that, between 5 to 10 years, we aim to have something like 10 to 20% of the market, which is about 5 to 10%, 10 to 20% of 1,000 satellites a year. So we think it's feasible, seeing the positive, the advantages over the current market. For that we need a workshop, we need machines, about three people personnel after those 3 years, license agreement with TNO, because the current patent is TNO, so they will, if we are going to produce something, they will want to have license fees for it. That should be doable. Did I forget something?
And there's of course always an opportunity to accelerate the process, so if you're really willing to step in right now with funding, we are of course open.
Okay, thank you very much. Question?
This is a tip for life. If you come to an investor and say, I have a great idea but I can tell you nothing about it, don't waste my time.
Is there a question allowed still? That was a comment.
That was a comment, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay, who's your competition?
What's our competition? Our competition, for instance, there are multiple people on the market who sell attitude control systems for CubeSats. They sell the system with reaction wheels and magnetotorquers. Our system has more advantages over them. So we have competition, but we can present more to a customer than what they can do.
Okay, thanks.
Because CubeSats are growing up. I don't know who knows who is a CubeSat here, but basically those systems are very simple, very rapid to develop. The sector is growing up. Do you know who knows who is a CubeSat? Cohen. Cohen, we were talking and he told me that he is still waiting for the launch. So it's been delayed for like 10 months and it's a problem. That's the main problem of CubeSat. So there is launch delays, they need to go with rides, there is less independence on choice of the orbit, which is bad because sometimes we need to and we want to go to that orbit. Basically is that, and there are high costs. We need to make sure that they are compliant with the KM standards. That's why Agnicool, that's not a slide, but that's how Agnicool addressed this problem. So Agnicool will build dedicated launch vehicles for these small satellites, up to 100 kg payload. We can reduce the launch price, and we are aiming for by employing additive manufacturing techniques, using lean manufacturing to increase productivity in the manufacturing in the cycle line, and offering unique flexibility by using plug-and-play systems for the first stage of our rocket. This is our primary product, so up to 100 kg, as I told you, and we are aiming to go to lower orbits first, so up to 700 kilometers. And as our engine is very adaptive, we can put it, we are studying if we can use also other types of launching possibilities, such as a balloon. It's a two-stage rocket, liquid propulsion, 20 kilonewtons per engine, 7 engines. Configuration of 7 engines, and this is a mix of electric pool. 1 minute and pressure speed. Okay, and I'm going to accelerate. It's an Agnicool market, so basically, like all the people that are launching satellites, our business model is to try to get 16,000 per kilo, the lowest price in the market. We aim to expand. So we are aiming to go then for geostationary orbits and to other other rockets with more that could have more mass. And this is our growth trajectory. I can talk a little bit about that if you want. Then our cost structure as well. This is our team. So this is our mentorship. We are being advised by a lot of people in the Indian Space Agency, a lot of good professional and experienced people. This is our founding team, which is also very experienced. That's it. Thank you. I'm going to like go on.
Okay. Oh, sure. Can you comment on your competition, please?
Competition. Some competition. I like to see competition as a positive thing, because if there is competition, it's because there is market, and if there is market, we are going to compete for that.
Of course.
There are two main themes that we keep hearing. The first one is space is hard. Everyone keeps saying that. And the second one is space is a small and enclosed community. This is not an optimum environment for innovation to occur. You need an environment in which ideas can have sex. Right? You can just multiply ideas in a fast manner. I'm not going to follow the technology anymore. I'm just going to stop there. So to achieve that, what we're doing is creating a cross-industry open innovation platform, in which we bring together industry players, larger players like space agencies, some people, individual citizens. So today, the launches of SpaceX are viewed by millions upon millions of people. Omar just let us know that 70% of ISU SSP participants this year are coming from different fields, not from space at all. People are looking for ways to get involved with the space industry, so we want to facilitate that. We want to create this open innovation platform and allow for innovation to occur, space projects to be completed on time and under budget. How are we going to do that? As I said, through this innovation platform, we're going to create multiple challenges. There are going to be certain layers of that process, so the challenge level is going to increase as you go deeper, and we're going to try to develop data. We're going to try to sell that data, utilize that data through our partners. This also, in a way, illustrates our business model. So we're going to have our platform. On our platform, we're going to have 1 minute. Okay. On our platform, we're going to connect those different stakeholders. We're going to have a web shop. Regular people are going to be able to build their own rovers. We're going to start with focusing on rovers. Then we're going to utilize that data to tackle the big challenges that we're facing in the industry. So we're going to build the audience. We're going to set up some certain rules and regulations, just like what happened with the CubeSat standard. We're going to do the matchmaking between different stakeholders. Then we're going to provide certain tools and services for innovation to occur in this space industry. So we have a brilliant team. Why are you laughing? It's true. We have electrical engineers, we have a mechatronic engineer, we have an aerospace engineer, and a chemical engineer, and probably one of the best space lawyers you can find in the Netherlands. So we are ready to tackle the problem. We're ready to go. Time is over. Thank you.
So, sorry, how are you similar or different to StatSearch, the other company?
How are we similar
or different?
Different from StatSearch.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
We have a better lawyer.
Oh, look. Okay.
We have to get in the lawyers at some point. So StatSearch is basically Google for space. You're facilitating the supply chain. What we want to do is to boost education, STEM education, and we think the more people play, the better ideas they come up with. And it could be possible that one of these ideas is exactly what one of the space agencies or one of the private commercial industries could be looking for to optimize rovers, for example. So that's what we want to do. We want to tap into the wider idea pool for people who are interested in space but who don't really have the access to it.
Our team name is 4C, and we are a team of 4 people from all around the world. My name is Moasir, I'm the CEO. Yanina is our business developer. Claudio, our space lawyer, and Yongshan is our space engineer.
China,
from Romania, and Argentina and Costa Rica. So, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, hundreds of millions of people rely on fishing for subsistence, and for most of this, fishermen are actually small and medium scale, have small and medium scale businesses, and they rely on fishing for nutrition and for income as well. So usually when you go outside and you want to go somewhere, you will go and check the weather, the forecast, and you check if it's going to be cloudy, sunny, whatever, and then that's how you probably make a lot of decisions based on this information available. What about a fisherman? You have a fisherman who actually depends on fishing for, giving a source of income to his family, goes to overseas, and he has really no idea about what the weather pattern in the sea is going to be, what the current patterns are going to be. And this makes it a matter of probability. So sometimes they may get some fish, sometimes they might not get anything at all. So how to mitigate this risk? How to mitigate this problem? By using remote satellite sensing data combined with in situ measurements of currents overseas in the near local areas of the seas. We will create a map and an application that's going to be enhanced with AI and machine learning to create a very reliable, with high predictability data for the fishermen. And they, using this information, they would be able to make better decisions on where to go overseas and where to actually catch or find the best populations of fishes. And so the value added is to process the data, and we're going to increase the predictability of current patterns. And thinking ahead the curve, we're going to work for also underwater farming, and that's in the future is going to be a thing, underwater farming. And they will also need to rely and need to be aware of the weather, sea weather data information. Our partners would mostly be in space agencies and also local fishing communities and committees.
With Pascal to talk about thermoelectric energy generation, which is, in our view, a potential energy harvesting source that is underutilized in space and on the ground here.
Okay, quick overview of the state of the art. We are focusing on CubeSats. Normally they use nowadays 1 to 5 watts of energy, mainly generated by solar cells and stored in batteries. They use a substantial mass, and you only can use 3 sides of the solar cells one at a time, and they are most efficient in maximum solar radiation.
So what we're proposing is to use Peltier elements, which you see right here. They are space proven. They've been to space before. They have a wide size variation that you can get down to 3 by 3 millimeters, up to 10 by 10 centimeters. So they fit on CubeSats fairly well. You can put them inside CubeSats and exploit thermal temperature differences of 1 to 2 Kelvin. You can also put them on the base of the CubeSat, and based on experimental data that was reported, you can generate from 9 to 36 watts, which is substantially higher than the present state of the art with photovoltaics.
Yeah, more benefits are that they do not degrade from solar radiation, which means you do not have to oversize them as you have to do solar cells. You can place them on every 6 areas of the CubeSat, and also basically on every single device that generates a heat difference.
So the benefits to space are smaller powered systems. You can put more payload on there and lower your launch costs, greater power allowances for your systems, redundancy in the event of long-term reliability need, and they're easy and cheap.
Yeah, and the benefits in the long term might be that you can also use it in every single device that generates a heat difference on Earth.
Yeah, great.
The DMARS team, most of them are not here, and we'll get to that. Alon is here, and together we started an adventure around a year ago and never stopped running ever since. Thank you very much for Konstantin and for Dylan for helping us out. So basically, DMARS. DMARS is an exploration center. If I needed to say what we're aiming for in 2 words, I would steal the tagline of this and say enlarging STEAM education. What does that mean? We want to increase the opportunities for STEAM education using space analog missions as a platform. So our customers or our target audience is kids at the ages of 13 to 15 and 16 to 18, that delicate time where you actually need to choose a little bit what you're going to do with your life. We will offer project-based learning, online courses, trips, summer courses, competitions, and mobile habitat workshops. This is how it looks, the habitat that we built and launched in Israel last February for 3 missions. This is just this is future rendering of how we would like to expand this. Again, this is the team. We have something like 200 volunteers that will do anything. We have like 6 or 7 people that are the core and the heart and soul of this. Some of them are Professor of Physics, Professor of Astrobiology, Dr. Sruk, Alon, myself, startup engineer who has in-flight servicing startup that he is involved with. So really interesting group of people.
1 minute.
Okay. So what we kind of deciphered here was potential financing sources and revenue streams, and what do we think we were aiming for? So potential financing will be corporate social funds, philanthropic, and of course impact investing. We would like this to actually be something that can generate real revenue while it's doing good. So revenue can come from school, parents, youth association, and of course government, whether the sciences department or the education department. And our aim is that taking all the costs, which we will not go into, later we will be happy to explain, minus, the revenue minus all the costs that we will have enough to pay back the impact investing, and at the beginning have nothing or a little bit come back to actually grow this, and as time continues and we have that finished.
Thank you very much.
You had that idea before, so what progress did you make during today?
Today was finding the customer.
So I showed the education part. We have 2 other verticals that we can give a lot of benefit, because we already have done that, which is technology or technology testing for companies, and also research and science-based usage of analog emission, which is the normal thing. Here was the first time that we really focused and zoned on one of the key drivers that really made us passionate about this project from the beginning, and actually define the customer base, what vertical of finance or funding we can find, what's the possible revenue stream, and even started to do some calculation of what would be the operating costs and the expected revenue, and actually try to figure that out.
I'll present it in short. So first, what sucks? This is something we learned today. So we know that wet socks is something that sucks. But what else? Illegal dumping, that sucks as well. And illegal activity in general, that sucks. So dumping, environmental pollutions, private and corporate planning violations, it is something that sucks really hard. The team, so we have Caroline Kieran from Ireland, and myself, Yair Shimon from Israel. We combine the Israeli innovation, entrepreneurship with Irish footstep into ESA and in multicultural and multidisciplinary backgrounds. Our long-term goal, this is also something we learned that we should not focus, but we do believe in it. So, what is the problem? The problem today, most governments or local governments cannot or try to detect problems using ground inspectors, inconsistent temporal resolution imagery, and people reporting on others. So, as you know, that doesn't happen to be a very good solution, and we come up with this solution of continuous detection of illegal activities using satellite data for local governments. And this is the solution we come up with to bridge over this gap that we found.
So I'm going to talk about the current environment. So it's estimated at the moment that just on illegal dumping alone, the EU spends about €92 million per year. This is on contamination events, on cleanup projects, and on tax evasion.
Well done.
Okay, good to talk really fast now. So there are more than 1,000 illegal dumping sites in England alone per year. These are new ones. So our business model is based on open source data when possible, so that we can keep our costs low. And we also anticipate having a tiered subscription based on revenue stream. So we would charge our clients on a monthly basis, depending on what exactly the requirements are. So in terms of financing, we would probably start out with family, friends, and money fools. We did get this idea yesterday, so we're still working on it. We would anticipate partnerships with people like ESA and educational institutes, and also we'd like to involve tech companies that are just starting out, because this would help keep our costs low. We would also be targeting clients like primarily local governments and municipalities and NGOs. So phase one would be targeting customers and analysing what exactly the requirements are, legal aspects, processing the satellite data for them, and then presenting the deliverables to them. Then in phase two, so phase one would actually fund phase two. Phase two would be
the question for the jury what phase two is.
Very good.
So, question.
How do you identify illegal dumping?
So we would do this via satellite imagery. We actually had some examples of this earlier, but we were able to put them in. So depending on what exactly the client requirements are, we would hope to use open source data in order to do this, but the resolution might not be good enough, in which case we would have to charge an additional fee on top of our subscriptions.
If I can just add to that, so we can also follow the news and read about companies that are going to be bankrupt and analyze what are the processes and things that's going to be happening with their plants, because usually it happens to be a good source of illegal dumping there.
Thank you very much.
Because of the solar conjunction, there are points in time where Mars is behind the Sun and we cannot communicate with it. Well, our solution, on top of some other benefits, can solve this. So the solution is MeLink. We can offer continuous communication not only to Mars, but throughout the solar system. Although there is not yet a need for that, we will focus on Mars first. So we think that our solution will actually accelerate the exploration of Mars. Once there is infrastructure, people will follow, or people go and then there comes infrastructure. That is how we go along a very, very long time. Of course, we enhance science missions and using only existing technology. There is a large advancement continuously in communications, and we can use that technology so we don't have to develop anything ourselves. It's already there, and we can follow that, and that makes us very agile. So the target customers are space agencies, because they can't be as agile as we are. They can't improve that fast, because they have to convince with Congress, go to the member states, and so forth and so forth. Also commercial companies. Think about SpaceX, for instance, and scientific institutes that want to bring their applications to Mars or to the solar system. So the timeline, of course, this is a long time project. So we first need to do a phase 0 study, and in this study we'll identify all the proof of concepts that we have to do. In the end, after this, we can create some value, and it's going to be a buyout, or we can scale up. And there are a lot of investors here also listed, but first we start with the friends.
1 minute.
1 minute, I'm almost done, because here we're down in the team. Our team is very, very enthusiastic. With my first pitch, I already got these people this morning. So think about it. If we expand on this, it's gonna be absolutely great. We're gonna change the world and the way we look at our solar system. Thank you.
It's okay that you sell the laptop, but how you communicate through the sun? You didn't say a word about the solution itself.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Sorry. Yeah, okay, so I didn't want to blow your mind immediately, but give you the space for a question. So what we do is we use, really short, we use non-Keplerian orbits using continuous thrust by solar sails to communicate around the sun. So there is a satellite that is held in place by a solar sail, rotating above the Earth, if you would like, and then rotating with the Earth around the sun. And the same we have at Mars, rotating above Mars around the sun. And this gives us direct line of sight all the time. But also, think about geostationary satellites. Geostationary satellites, they are always exactly above the same spot in Earth, or approximately always. This is the same thing. So whenever you're on the northern hemisphere and the satellite is located above the Earth, you can always communicate with it. So you don't need some expensive distributed ground system.
Okay.
So today I was talking about data. Data is everywhere. Data, it started from personal images to take selfie, from remote sensing data, but the problem started when we tried to store it. Right now we use huge data storage, like this, and it takes a lot of space and a lot of money. What if we can store the data without using any space? What if we can store the data on wavelength? I know it sounds strange, but if, for example, we take the space interesting, and when we try to explore exoplanets, for example, we actually discover planets that exist millions of years ago just by sampling the data that we deliver from space. If we can use this phenomena to store the data, we can even use less space and store a big amount of data. So the innovation is basically use light as a storage. The product, what we are trying to do is to create a service that light-based storage. And for example, in the B2B, we will arrange and cooperate with companies like Google, Amazon, and etc. And in the B2B2C, we actually use our product as a way to connect with developers that use, for example, the G-Cloud and more. On the beginning, we will use the IP license and supply IP license for using our product. And in the end, we supply a portable workstations for the end user just to store the data. And after that, after 3 years of development, we can use the infrastructure to replace the data center before.
1 minute.
That's it.
Are you finished?
Okay. If I have more time. Just kidding. So we can see the advantages for this. Instead of taking a lot of space, and we can build something that actually is recycled, because we actually use just the wavelength and a specific way to deliver. So it's much more good to the economy, and that's it.
Thanks.
I'd like to start. So I'm starting with a picture. Who has encountered such a situation? Your GPS says turn left, but there is no street, or there was a street and it's gone. Raise your hands. It's quite some people. That's a true pain, I'd say. So, I'll present you something, my idea is called Streety. Well, it's changing faster every day, and one thing, and everyone's impatient, and one thing of that is streets and roads that change. So sometimes it takes months, not even years, until like a new street is into a GPS system. And my idea is Streety, keep your way up to date. So what's the idea and solution? The idea is to take satellite imagery, compare it, and run an artificial intelligence algorithm over it to detect the street that's being built and reduce the time up until like a GPS and map solution down to a few weeks only. What's the market opportunity? So the idea is to take satellite data, Streety does the processing, you know where's a new street, you push that to the map companies, which are the major players, there's only a few of them. Google, here, Apple, TomTom, everyone uses them every day. And then, basically, the key thing is the end user, every one of us, is benefiting in a way that you don't have to struggle, that your car says turn left, but the street is not there anymore. So that's the core concept. The business model, I would describe it as fairly easy. There's a clear structure. There's only a few customers. It's B2B only. Of course, the end user, like who benefits from it, is a customer, like every normal person. But it's the business model itself is strictly B2B. There's no, you don't need to build like a facility or something. Everything you do is scalable, is a service. And expenditures, yeah, you get the data, you process it, you need R&D people for that. Revenue stream would be subscription to the map companies. And today it's done quite manually, so it's a big pain also for the companies doing it. And the strategy would be get in contact with them, stimulate end user demand. Autonomous driving will be has a huge need for accurate maps. Pitch the concept, establish contracts, automate the process, and at the end you would have the vision also start with streets. You can enhance it or expand it with rails. You can use other infrastructure to improve it. Once the technology is ready for it and it's feasible, you can extend it to lots of other use cases. And yeah, I'd like to say thank you.
So in essence, you do automatic map discovery.
Yeah.
So have you heard about Waze?
Yes.
Pretty much the same.
But it's crowdsourced, and this one is artificial intelligence, so you can automate it a lot.
Right.
That's the key difference. Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, first to start.
Good afternoon. We are Able Space. My name is Mukesh. This is Carlotta. This is Aldo. We have made a new team this evening, and we have been very, very busy. What I'd like to ask you is, how many of you think you are not old or disabled? And do you think you will ever be? Anyone? No? Obviously. Well, I used to be like you, and I can assure you that a lot of help is often needed. There are 17,000 patents available from NASA. How many of them could be used to help people who are old, disabled, vulnerable? Would you like that? I certainly would. So how do we do that? Carlotta, would you like to comment on that?
Yes. So we have examples where this has been done already. So you know the water purification that a lot of developing countries use, so people actually don't get diseases by water contamination. That was actually used in the International Space Station, and that was an open patent by NASA, and it's diffused all over the world. So this is an example of what it could look like on a very tangible level.
That's really good, isn't it? That basically means we have a lot of things which could be used, which we're not using. Just think of the billions of dollars of investments that people think are wasted. Do we actually use that money in any way to help benefit the people on Earth? I think we can, and I think that's a direct social benefit here. We should be able to tell the people, what you're using right now is money invested in space, and that's helping you to walk or to see or to drink clean water in this case, all sorts of little things like that. So what we're proposing is a simple idea. A group of people going through the patents and identifying what we can find and see whether it can be applied and changed, transferred to help people who are old and vulnerable, disabled.
So our customers would be health and social systems at one instance, but they could also be incubators that are interested in scaling up health investment in startups. There is a lot of impact investment for health solutions, especially low cost. So we think there is a really good market opportunity for lowering the cost of health technologies and diffusing them. Another idea was that we would actually be a startup within an incubator which would do this service of processing the patents, identifying the relevant ones, and releasing them. So we would be an idea generator who would facilitate, so it would be a meta startup in a way. We would facilitate idea generation by other people by already publishing what could be done.
And we are able space and we're looking for seed funding if you'd like to help. Thank you.
80 billion tons of plastic dumped every year in the ocean, globally. This plastic is gonna end up in the coastlines or in the ocean gyres. The Mediterranean Sea, it's 7 times more polluted than the Pacific garbage patch that you might hear about it. Also, the European Commission spent last 2014 360 million of euros to clean up the beaches and the marine ecosystems. Gusto, we found a solution. We teamed up 6 of us. We are in a different kind of files. We have a marine science, geoscience, water engineer, space engineer, science communicator, and geographer. And we found a solution about plastic pollution. So how do we do this? We use Copernicus services to have a model that actually simulates the plastic movement in the Mediterranean Sea. So we know where is the plastic coming from, where is it going, how is it floating with the currents, and where does it end up. With this model, we can identify hotspots in the Mediterranean Sea where the most plastic accumulates and where it passes by. In these exact locations, we will operate a plastic collector that catches the plastic before it gets washed ashore. With this plastic, we will put it into recycling plants or use it for upcycling if it's suitable. So who's our customer? You might ask. Our customers are those people who spend a lot of money on cleaning their beaches and coastal waters. This is municipalities, local beach owners, hotels, whoever you want. We offer them to save up to 30% of the money that they usually spend on cleaning their beaches because we catch the plastic before it even gets there. We already teamed up with CMCC, which is the Euro-Mediterranean Center of Climate Change. They provide us with the model and they're keeping on researching about it. Our next step is to contact partners and other stakeholders as well as customers. One of our partners would be the Ocean Cleanup. We want to go from a dirty beach to a clean beach, like you probably also would like to see. And for that, we also need your help. We are Cousteau and we are ready to talk to you for dinner if you're interested in our idea. Thank you very much.
So how exactly are you collecting the plastic? We use a technology that is already not yet in action, but there's research on it by the Ocean Cleanup. That's why this is our major stakeholder that we're going to team up with.
So you just provide the data?
We're going to combine the technology with the research, the two technologies basically, and make that feasible.
That was a bonus question. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I will present you Interconnected Space Technology, a company that I developed in Italy. And
So what's the problem? Well, satellites are not able to be refueled, repaired, restored, or moved in orbit. And this creates a problem because if this is not the case, you have to build a new satellite with all the problems involved. So it's not sustainable. On-orbit servicing is a possible solution, but it has a problem. Satellites are not made for that, so it gets trickier and difficult. So the actual problem is to allow for servicing. How does it do that? First, look at what is the current environment. So we have several companies that will provide the service. However, there is a key problem. A link is missing, so it's difficult for them. And who is there could be their customers. Well, we have mega constellations that have specific needs for their specific problems. We also have telecom and GNSS providers that have different, again, problems. And even new space businesses are thinking about connecting in space. But they cannot at the moment. They have the same problem in reality, but they need specific tailored solutions. So, the solution we are proposing is a modular interface for docking. So, a standardized mechanical interface with adds-on that can be tailored for the specific customer. So, it's in the end a business-to-business model, which we have here possible clusters of, let's say, customers. So we can have a very diversified and both in application and in time. 1 minute, yes. Because we can start from mega constellations, which is the thing of the moment, and then translate to LEO, GEO, and even beyond.
So if I understand correctly, you're creating a new interface for the tugs to tug along. What about the 800 satellites that are already in orbit?
That is not our problem.
That's your lost opportunity.
Sorry?
That's your lost opportunity.
Could be, but on the other hand, this kind of solution is more sustainable on the long run. So people are already looking at this kind of specific problem, which is actually what they will use to enable and, let's say, sell the servicing idea. So they will provide the, let's say, breakthrough, so that people and stakeholders will look into servicing as a viable solution. So they will do that, will make use of what they will do.
It will reduce dispatch that we have. Otherwise, the answer is longer than the whole presentation. We got a very nice talk from one of our sponsors.
Hello. As you can see, it took us a bit longer than 10 minutes to have a final decision, and we tried to make it as fair as possible. So you see there are some changes in terms of the actual places, which is interesting as well. So that's something that I hope you would like. And in terms of the support of Spacebit, I'm really glad that we can offer this support for space community. And we work on blockchain and artificial intelligence applications for space industry. We signed during the Farnborough Air Show agreement with Gunhili Air Station, and we will be running a very interesting hackathon around space data, blockchain, and artificial intelligence. So if you'd like to take part in that hackathon, there will be prizes as well. Please let me know. You can see my email address here, which is pablo@spacebit.com. And yeah, well, thank you very much for waiting again. And I believe even if you don't get a prize today, it doesn't really mean that you don't deserve the prize. It just means that maybe you should try a bit harder. Or maybe it's just the wrong judges here. I mean, maybe. Yes. Well, thank you very much, and we start with the place 3.
Two teams really got our attention. They gave a nice presentation, good idea, but they were not good enough. This is a competitive world, guys. So, Team Agricool, thumbs up. You don't have to come, there's no prize for you. Got our attention because of the gimmick. They have a good idea, they just didn't present it. Is Emulink. And I'm done. Now the real prizes.
So now we have prizes. And there are the boxes, which are not presented anymore, like this. So both of them are going to the second place. So we just appreciated the very good job. Now it's really the place, which is the second one, and we have 2 teams on the second place. And the teams are Gustav. And the second team is Able Space.
Well, probably you're guessing who would be the number 1, and we have 2 number 1s. The jury was very generous. Actually, we struggled. We struggled because both companies deserve to be number 1. However, they're very different companies. One company will have very substantial social impact, and another company, again, if they commit and will do it, they will have very long-term business impact. So that is why we decided that we should have 2 first places. And the first business place is going to Balance Shift. Now it's your laptop.
Thank you.
We have one more winner to announce. And actually, as you can see, there is no prize left. So we thought about buying one more laptop, but it kind of sounds really strange. And I believe that what we have decided as a team collectively is that we should talk to the winner and we should decide what would be the most impactful prize that we can provide to them. So that would be prize that we'll have to design together with the team, and the team is G-Mars. members to say a word as well.
So, this is my day job, as I told you. I'm evaluating companies every day, and we could see the progress that you made throughout the day, learning, assimilating the knowledge, and using it for it to improve your pitch. Don't ever come to a jury without a very clear line of, like, this is what I'm about to do, this is the impact, this is what I'm going to make money from, or make an impact. Don't let the BS indicator start rolling, because then you're done. This is my advice to you guys. Good luck and success.
Thank you.
Now it's good, I guess, right?
I really want to thank you, because you really make a tough decision, and I think it's very great that you offer a prize based on what the team needs are. So thank you again for here to be in the jury and for the sponsor of the event. And next to that, I really want to thank the mentors who really hopeful, really helped you during today. Make sure you stay connected with them. So, for all the mentors, thank you.